pretty high number. But still, what's going on with the rest of you? Okay, so we got 5 over 12, 12 over 5. Good job. Awesome. So we're ready to move on. This is the last lesson for our unit 4, triangle inequalities. But we're just focusing in on one part of this lesson. So what we're going to be able to do after today and tomorrow is I can order the sides, angles of a triangle from least to greatest. All right, so here we go. Let me make sure you guys are back at the meet or whatnot. Looks like you are. Okay. So at the top here, we're not really dealing with specifically right triangles for this lesson. It's any triangle. And so this triangle right here, given ABC, as this side AC gets shorter, as it's getting smaller and smaller, the measure of angle B is also getting smaller. It's approaching 0. It'll never get to 0, but it approaches it. Conversely, as side AC gets longer, okay, as it's growing, then the measure of angle B is also increasing, and it's getting closer and closer to 180 degrees, but it will never get here, it just approaches it. So we can use this idea here to make this relationship that if 2 sides of a triangle are not congruent, means they are not the same size, these 2 sides, then the larger angle is opposite the longer side. So if you're given a triangle and there's not any 2 sides that are congruent, whichever side is the greatest, longest, okay, and in this case, we're looking at AC is greater than BC, well, that means that the measure of angle B is going to be greater than the measure of angle A. All right, so we have a couple examples here. This one's done for us, so I'm just going to kind of explain it to you. It says for each triangle, order its angle measures from least to greatest. So we are given all 3 side lengths. We see that AC is 15, BC is 12, and AB is 10. I'm just going to like color code as we go through here. So it's telling us that the longest side length is AC, all right? And so if I just use my line tool to show that the side is the longest, there's AC. Well, because of what we just saw on the last slide, that means that across from it, angle B is also going to be the greatest measure. So I'm just going to draw an arrow pointing to angle B. So across from it, we have angle B, and that's going to be our greatest angle measure. So whatever's across from the longest side is the greatest angle measure. And then for the shortest side, you can see here that our shortest side is 10, or AB is the shortest side. And if we look at the angle that is across from that shortest side, it's pointing to angle C, and that will also be the smallest or least angle measure. All right, so the longest side has the greatest angle measure across from it, and the shortest side will have the smallest angle measure across from it. Now, since we're dealing with a triangle that has 3 sides, we can order these from least to greatest, because we now know that the smallest one is angle C, measure of angle C, and then the greatest one is the measure of angle B, and so the one we didn't use is going to go in the middle. I'm not really sure why it looks like I'm like crossing the stuff out, but like on my screen, it doesn't look like that. It's really strange. Let me try refreshing it. and see if it changes. Yeah, it just does. Okay, well, I'm just trying to color code it, but that is our answer. So I'm going to box it. So when it asks me to order the angle measures from least to greatest, it's these three. And it's important that you pay attention. It says from least to greatest, right? Not greatest to least. And there it goes again. I just underlined that and it's putting it on top of it. So weird. All right. Let's look at the other example. Okay, now it's not being weird again. So that's what I was trying to show you guys, and it was just putting the lines in different places. Okay, so we have a triangle, ABC, and the three side lengths are labeled as 20, 21, and 22. And so the longest side length of those three is 22 because that's the largest number. So CB or BC is the longest side length. And then if I look, what is across from BC? You know, you draw all over these triangles if you want to. If you don't need to, you don't need to. But, you know, sometimes that does help you see what it is you're trying to identify. And so I'm just going to make this side blue. And then I'm going to see the greatest angle measure is going to be across from it. So if I look at what's across from this side, we get angle A. So the greatest angle measure is the measure of angle A. All right, and so that's how you want to write that. Little m, angle symbol, capital A. If you're typing it, you can use the, you know, just for the sake of using the pear deck, if you want to use like the less than or greater than symbol, the less than symbol, that would work for the angle if you're trying to type it, because it doesn't give you all of our symbols that we need. All right, so shortest side length now. Looks like it's going to be 20. So that's side AB. Capital A, capital B. And then because that's the shortest side, the least angle measure will be across from it. Okay, so now we know the greatest angle measure and the least angle measure. So we can order these angle measures from, again, pay attention to what it's saying, from least to greatest. So we want to put the smallest one first. The smallest one is C. So the measure of angle C is first, because that's the smallest, comma. And then we know the greatest, so the one that we didn't use is going to be in the middle, which we did not use angle B. So the measure of angle B. And then the last one would be the measure of angle A. And this is our completed answer. All right, you guys have questions on what we just did? because I'm going to put you on student pace. And then when you're ready, you're going to go to slide 5 and do slide 5. And you still have plenty of time. So we have till 10:56. It's 10:39. Real quick, I'm just going to show you slide 5. You have 2 problems like the ones we just did. You are given a triangle with 3 side lengths labeled. So if you're going through the steps that we just did, you're basically looking to see which side is the longest, okay, and then look across from it to tell which angle is the greatest. Which side is the shortest? Look across from it to see which angle is the smallest, the least. And then you want to write them in an order. Pay attention to what it says. Does it say least to greatest, greatest to least? I'm pretty sure these all say least to greatest. Check. Yep, least to greatest. So I'm going to leave my screen up right here. I'm going to give you guys feedback on the pear deck as we're doing this.